Welcome back to Cyber Education World. This is a round second of our SOC Analyst interview series for freshers. Okay, in this video, we are focusing on one of the most important areas for any SOC analyst: SIEM tools and technical concept. We will go through common questions around SIEM, use cases, log correlation, alerts, and popular tools like Splunk and QRadar. Okay, and as always, I will show you exactly how to answer these questions during your interview. Okay. Now, what is a SIEM and why is it important in SOC? Okay, this is a very common question in a SOC analyst interviews because SIEM tools are at the core of a modern security operations center. Okay, let me explain it in a simple and clear terms. Okay. A SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. Is a tool that collects, stores, and analyzes logs and security events from different systems in an organization. Think of it as the central nervous system of a SOC. Okay, it pulls in data from firewalls, servers, endpoints, cloud platforms and applications, and then normalize the data into a readable format. Once the data is in, SIEM tools apply correlation rules and use cases to detect suspicious or malicious activities. Okay, why is it important? Because without a SIEM, analyst would have to manually check logs from every system, which is impossible in large environments. Okay, SIEM tools give a real-time visibility, help us to detect threats quickly, and even trigger automated responses using SOR features. Okay, for example, if a user logs in at 3 a.m. from a new country and downloads a large number of files, the SIEM can alert you based on the set rules. Okay, SIEMs also help with compliance, incident response, and forensic investigations. Okay, popular tools included Splunk, IBM QRadar, ArcSight, Microsoft Sentinel. Okay, so SIEM is the backbone of any SOC, and as an analyst, being comfortable with how it works is initial. Okay, now can you explain what log correlation means in SIEM tools? Okay, this question often comes up to test how well you understand the power of SIEM tools. Now, how to answer it? Log correlation is the process of analyzing and connecting different types of logs and events to identify patterns or suspicious behavior. Instead of looking at isolated events, correlation helps paint a bigger picture. Okay, for example, let's say a user logs in from a new location, disable antivirus, and then run PowerShell to download a file. Individually, these events might not trigger an alert, but together they could be sign of a cyber attack. The SIEM correlate those logs across different sources like Active Directory, endpoint security, and firewall logs, and triggers an alert because the combined pattern matches a unknown threat scenarios. Okay, in a SOC, we write correlation rule or use cases that define what sequence of events are considered suspicious. Okay, these are usually mapped to the MITRE framework. Log correlation saves times, reduces false positives, and improves detection accurately. Okay, that's why it is a core skill for SOC analyst. Okay, now what are some of the most common use cases configured in a SIEM? Okay, this is a very practical question because it checks your real world knowledge of how SIEM tools are used in a SOC. Okay, now how to approach it? Use cases in a SIEM are predefined rule or logic that detect a specific threats or behaviors. Okay, some of the most common ones are: first, brute force attack detection. For example, multiple failed logging attempts within a short time. Okay. Second is unauthorized logging outside working hour, useful for spotting insider threats or compromised account. Okay. Third one, large file transfer to external destination to catch potential data exfiltration. Fourth one, disable antivirus or endpoint protection. It could indicate the beginning of an attack. Fifth one, PowerShell or scripting activity, often used in post exploitation or lateral movement. Sixth one, communication with unknown malicious IPs. Try to threats intel feeds. Okay, these use cases are built using logs from firewalls, endpoints, VPNs, and authentication system. A strong SOC team continuously updates these use cases based on new threats, incident trends, and threat intelligence. As a fresher, showing awareness of these real world use cases makes a great impression. Okay. Now, what type of logs would you collect from an endpoint device? Okay. It is a key technical question to test if you understand what data we actually use in a SOC. Okay. Let's talk about it. From an endpoint, we typically collect a wide range of logs to detect suspicious activity. First, security logs. These show logins, logouts, failed logins, privilege changes. Okay. Second is application logs. If any software crashes or behaves unusually, it will show up here. Third one is a system logs for things like drivers or service failures, startup shutdowns, events. Fourth one, antivirus or EDR logs. These show detection, quarantines, and behavioral alerts. Fifth one, process creation logs, useful for identifying suspicious scripts or binaries. Okay. Fifth one, file access logs, to detect unauthorized file modification or access. In Windows, these are mostly event viewer logs, and in Linux, they come from syslogs, authentication log, etc. Endpoint detection and response tool like CrowdStrike, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, or Sentinel-1 also enrich this data and send it to the SIEM. These logs are crucial because many attacks start at the endpoint. Okay, whether through phishing, drive-by download, or USB drops. Okay, that's why endpoint log are gold for a SOC analyst. Okay, Now, what is the difference between an event and an alert in a SIEM tool? Okay, this question checks if you understand the difference between raw data and actionable information in a SOC environment. Okay, in a SIEM, an event is simply a log entry like a record that say a user logged in or a process started on a machine. These are collected from various devices or applications like firewalls, servers and endpoints. Okay, an alert on the other hand, it is a result of analyzing events. It is a signal that indicates suspicious activity or a potential security incident. While events are raw data, alerts are triggered based on the correlation rule, a threshold or predefined pattern of behavior. For example, an event might say user X logged in at 2 am, but an alert might say a user X logged in from an unusual location after hour, triggering an investigation because this could indicate suspicious behavior. In sense, events provides raw data while alerts highlights incidents requiring further attention. Okay. Alerts help analysts to focus on what matters rather than sifting through hundreds or thousands of normal events. Okay. Now, can you name a few popular SIEM tools used in the industry? This is a straightforward question to test your familiarity with SIEM tool. Okay. Now, how to structure your answer? There are several SIEM tools widely used in the cybersecurity industry. Some of the most popular ones are: first, Splunk, one of the most popular SIEM tools, known for its powerful search and data analyze capabilities. Okay, it is used by large enterprises for real-time monitoring, reporting and log analyze. Okay, second is IBM QRadar, another widely used SIEM known for its ability to integrate with a variety of data sources and perform complex event correlation. It's favored for it is scalability and strong analytics. Third one is elastic security, a more flexible and open source option that is becoming increasingly popular for its low cost and extensibility. Okay, it is a part of the elastic stack used for logging and monitoring. Fourth is ArcSight, a SIEM by Micro Focus, often used in a large organization due to its scalability and integration capability with the various data sources. Fifth one, Microsoft Sentinel, a cloud-native SIEM tool that provides integrated security monitoring across various Microsoft services and other cloud environments. Okay, each of these tools has unique features, but they all serve the same basic purpose: collecting and analyzing security event data to identify potential threats. So, as a SOC analyst, familiarity with these tools will help you adapt to different environments and understand the range of capabilities available in the industry. Now, how would you differentiate between false positive and true positive alerts? Okay, this is an important question as dealing with false positive is a major part of a SOC analyst day-to-day task. Let's break it down. A true positive alert is when a SIEM tool correctly identifies a real threat. For example, an alert triggered by a brute force attack on a secure server. It is a true positive because the behavior is indeed malicious. On the other hand, a false positive is when the SIEM tool flags something as a suspicious but in reality it is harmless. For example, if a user logs in from a new country but they have just returned from the business trip, this could trigger an alert even though there is no real threats. Okay, the differentiating between false positive and true positives is crucial because false positives can waste a lots of time and resources to minimize false positives. Okay, it is important to fine-tune correlation rules, set proper threshold and continuously improve detection logic. Okay, as a SOC analyst, you should constantly review alerts and adjust sensitive levels and validate against unknown baseline to ensure the alert you are receiving are accurate. Okay, and true positive required immediate action while false positives required careful analysis to confirm and whether further action is needed or if the alert can be dismissed. Okay. Now, what is the MITREATTACK framework and how is it used in threat detection? Okay, this question evaluate your understanding of how the MITREATTACK framework fit into a SOC workflow and its role in threat detection. Okay, let me explain. The MITREATTACK framework is a comprehensive knowledge base that categorizes the tactics, technique and procedures used by adversary in the real world. It is organized into metrics for different platforms like Windows, Linux and cloud environments. Each tactic represents a high level objects and attacker try to achieve like initial access or data exfiltration. Okay, and the tactics are a specific method that attackers use to achieve those objectives like phishing or exploitation of publishing facing applications. Okay, SOC team use the MITRE-ATT&CK framework to map out the behavior of potential threats based on the data and log they collect. Okay, for example, if you notice a user accessing critical system unexpectedly, you can use MITRE-ATT&CK to check if that matches any unknown attack techniques. The framework helps SOC analysts to detect and respond to threats by offering a common language for describing attack methods. It also guides threat hunting, incident response and even alert configuration in SIEM tool. Okay, MITRE-ATT&CK is an initial resource in the fight against cyber threats, enabling SOC teams to stay ahead of cyber attacks by leveraging a structured approach to understanding adversary behavior. Okay. Now, what is the function of the threat intelligence platform in a SOC? Okay. Now a question that tests how well you understand the role of threat intelligence in a SOC environment. Okay, let's go over it. A threat intelligence is a tool that collects, analyzes, and shares information about existing and emerging cyber threats. It can include things like IP addresses, URLs, hashes, TTPs, and more. Okay, that are associated with unknown malicious activity. Okay, threat intelligence play a critical role in a SOC because they provide actionable intelligence that helps SOC team to proactively defend against threats. Okay, by feeding a threat intelligence platform into a SIEM system, you can enhance threat detection by correlating external intelligence with the internal logs and events. For example, if a threat intelligence feed identifies an IP address as a malicious, the SIEM can automatically flag any communication that IP as a suspicious. Okay, it allows SOC analysts to detect and respond to threat more effectively. Okay, threat intelligence platform are initial for threat hunting, incident response, and automation. Okay, some popular platform includes Threat Connect, Anomaly, and Recorded Future. Okay, and a threat intelligence platform provide the data and context needed to stay ahead of emerging threats and improving the overall effectiveness of a SOC. Okay, now how do you prioritize alerts in a SIEM environment? Okay, this question is a practical question that checks how well you can manage alert fatigue in a busy SOC. Okay, now how to answer it effectively? Prioritizing alerts is a crucial because in a high volume environment you will not have the time to investigate every alert in depth. Okay, the goal is to focus on the high priority threats that could pose a risk to the organization. Okay, to prioritize alerts, we typically use the following criteria. First, severity. Okay, first, severity. High severity alerts should be addressed first. For example, a malware outbreak or a breach in a critical system needs immediate attention. Okay, second is risk to the businesses. An alert related to sensitive data access or a compromised executive accounts is a highly priority than a routing logging attempt from a regular employees. Third one is confidence level. Alerts that have a higher confidence in their authenticity are prioritized over low confidence alert. Okay. Fourth, impact and scope. If an alert indicates that an attacker has affected multiple systems or compromised key infrastructure, it would be escalated higher. Okay. We also rely on playbooks and automation in modern SOCs to help with alert trigger. Okay, these can automatically escalate certain alert based on predefined threshold. Okay, reducing the time it take to address incidents. Okay, and you prioritize by severity, impact, and risk to the organization, and use automation to reduce manual effect in triggering alert. Okay, these are the kind of questions that really test your understanding of how security operation actually work. Okay, and I hope the example answer gave you a clear picture of how to present your knowledge, and even as a fresher. Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone preparing for SOC interview. Okay, and round third is coming up next, and it is all about the real life alert handling and scenario based questions. Okay, that where things get really exciting, so stay tuned. Okay.